Year 6 English for Monday the 11th of May. The learning objective is I can read, analyse and respond to a poem.
Hi Year 6, welcome to Week 4's English. I hope you had a really lovely weekend. So I'm here today with my cat Misty because our work this week in English is all going to be about animals. So I really hope that you enjoy it.
Later in the week we're going to be writing stories from the point of view of animals. But to start the week we're going to be creating our own wild words creature poems. We'll be looking at a poem by the poet James Carter and also using ideas from the National Poetry Day website. So if you'd like to find out more about James Carter and some of his other poems or find out more about National Poetry Day, the web addresses are here. So I'd like you to start by reading through the poem to yourself. There's a copy of the poem on the website, or it's on this slide and the next slide. So pause the video and read through this slide and the next slide. Now we're going to read the poem together. She watches the world through star-gold eyes with awe, but mostly suspicion. She'll sniff at the air, she'll wait, she'll listen, she'll sense the slightest footfall. She'll skulk through the night in her old winter coat beneath an ocean of sky. She'll leap over snow with limbs as fleet as the wind's invisible wings. She'll follow the promise of even the wisp of a meal. Here in my dreams, those darkest woods, nothing bewitches me more than her. I wonder if you've managed to work out which animal this poem is about. There are definitely clues in the poem. It's got golden eyes, star gold eyes. It sniffs at the air, uses its sense of smell. She skulks through the night, so a kind of slinking walk in her old winter coat, a thick, warm coat for the winter. There are clues about the habitat where the animal lives. She hunts over snow, moving through the dark forest. Here in my dreams, those darkest woods, nothing bewitches me more than her, that great grey wolf. Now that we've read through the poem, we're going to analyse it. If you can print the poem out, then you can cut it out and stick it in the middle of your page and write round it. If you can't, then make sure you have the poem up on screen and you can make a mind map like the one that I'm working on here. Have another read through the poem and see if there are any phrases that stand out for you. Try and think about why. For me, the opening line of the poem really stands out. She watches the world through star-gold eyes. That choice of words, star-gold, makes the creature's eyes sound beautiful, but also quite mysterious and piercing, like they're watching me. As you read the poem, what images and pictures does it give you in your head? Make a note on your mind map. How does the poem make you feel? And why do you think the poet only reveals what the creature is right at the end? Write down your ideas on your mind map. Poems use patterns in language. The one that we're used to seeing most often in poetry is rhyme, but this poem doesn't rhyme. Look carefully and see if you can see any other language patterns in the poem. For example, are there any repeated words? Is there any alliteration where particular sounds are repeated again? It might help to read the poem out loud. I've noticed that the poem repeats the S sound in phrases like suspicion she'll sniff, she'll listen, she'll sense. See if you can find any other repeated sounds in the poem. Have a look through the poem and see if you can write down 5 different verbs. What do you notice about them? I think the poet has selected these verbs very carefully to tell us about the animal's behaviour. She watches, she sniffs, she skulks. There's also a pattern in the way the poet uses these verbs. He repeats that phrase: she'll wait, she'll listen, she'll sense, she'll skulk, she'll leap. Finally, note down a question that you'd like to ask about the poem. It could be something that you'd like to ask the poet, or something that the poem makes you wonder. For your final task, have a think about a wild creature that you'd like to research and write about. Don't go for anything too cuddly, so maybe a wolf or a hawk or an eagle. Take a bit of time to think about it. You could Google it or look for clips on YouTube. Talk to your family about the animal you're thinking about, and make a note of anything that could be interesting, ready for our work tomorrow.